Hello everybody, welcome back. Thought I'd make a quick video about planning for the next portion of the bull run, which is obviously a little a bit far away from now. So I've got a few bots going on at the moment just in this downtrend, as you all know. My grid bots sitting around down here, they're just doing a few down token Bitcoin bots really, and they're not massive. They're just a few grand here and there. Nothing major because I generally don't think there's much money to be made in this market over the next couple of months. It'll be a bit tricky. So using bots is good, but also, like, if anyone remembers my bot journeys that I did in 2020 leading into the 2021 bull market, I was using altcoin to altcoin bots, and they're the best bots to have. And really, they're best to have in a sideways market, preferably sideways and up. You don't really want to be doing those sort of things in a downwards market, because obviously you'll be losing money all the time. Well, I mean, your USDT value will be going down. You'll be accumulating throughout, but your USDT value will be going down. So there's a time and a place. So rather than waiting for the absolute low to kick in and then develop a plan, the best thing to do is develop a plan leading into that portion of the market. So just as this time round, I made a plan to sell up approximately what I consider the top, and then create some bots to make some money on the way down. The vast majority of all my funds are in Tether and dollars and pounds at the moment. They'll be going back into the market once we scrape out a low. But I don't want to be just like waiting for a low and then just going crazy and throwing it all in and trying to make a plan on one single day. I make a plan now. Make a plan now that might not even come to fruition for 2, 3, 4, 6 months, wherever. One of those plans is to set up a bot. There's going to be 2 bots that I'm very interested in setting up. One of them is XRP to BTC, and the other one is Chainlink to Ethereum. And these are the 2 bots that I'm going to set up when I think that the market is trying to form a low. And they will be altcoin to altcoin bots. So Bitcoin to XRP, which will develop bot profit in the form of Bitcoin, and the link to Ethereum, which will be giving me bot profit in the form of Ethereum. Now, if this sort of thing interests you, then fine. If not, that's no big deal. I get it. Bots are for patient accumulators rather than degenerate traders. So there's a strategy involved, and I'm just letting you know that when I set these bots up, my intention will be to allow them to continue until the bull market is over. So they will be moving up and down and sideways, zigzagging all over the place. They might even be bots that run for a 12-month period. And I'd expect, obviously, to make at least 500% just on holding the 2 pairs, at least. And on top of that, I'd probably, over a 12-month period, I would probably expect 100% in the form of bot profit as well. And obviously that will appreciate by 500%. With the market. Hopefully this all makes sense to you, because like I say, bots aren't for everybody, but they are definitely a valuable tool that you can use when the time's right. You can't use them all the time, but when the time is right. So what I'm getting at here is the first bot, and probably the best of the 2, is going to be Bitcoin, XRP to Bitcoin. Now, first of all, they've always trades a reasonably good volume, 342 Bitcoins in a 24-hour period. We've got a sideways range, which is quite a large range, by the way. Normally, I wouldn't advise making a bot that's above 40 or 50% range, unless you use something like Pionex's Infinity Grid Bot, where you can basically, all you need to worry about is where the bottom support is. You let it know how many grids you want it to trade, and you just let it go, and there is effectively no top to that range. It will trade appropriately throughout the range and effectively go on forever. That's what it's called, an Infinity Grid Bot. You just need to focus on the low. Where do you think the low is? Where's the acceptable low? And as far as XRP is concerned, there is an acceptable low, I think, down here. Obviously, we've been lower than this in the past. This is just XRP to BTC on Binance, so it's not a very old chart. It's been very different to this in the past. But I'll be looking at this area down here is what I would consider to be the low, and that's basically 767 sats with a little wiggle room. So we'll call it 700 sats, right? So 700 sats being the bottom area of support, where you would hope that this actually finds a low or close to it. Now, we have basically had a range on XRP to BTC for a little while, and just measured it out to about 250%. So from a spot trader's perspective, if you wanted to go all in on XRP towards this low, you would expect to outperform Bitcoin regardless anyway. But XRP likes to move up and down, and quite significant up and down trends, and so a bot might be an appropriate way to play this for a 12-month period as well. So I'm intending on doing this. I'm absolutely got my heart set on it, really. It would only change if we see a significant drop down below here before Bitcoin has formed a low. You're trying to time this with an overall market, but because it's a bot, you don't really need to get too picky about the spot in the absolute low, because your bot will be accumulating Bitcoin while we're moving up and down and sideways and all there. So this is one of those things that I thought I'd point out as an opportunity. Now, I will be setting these up on Pionex because they have the infinity grid bot, and it suits this purpose. But you could create a grid bot if you wanted to on something like Bitsgap or any of the other bot platforms. The only thing is that obviously with such a large range, you will have very small bot profit on a daily basis. You might be looking at something even as small as like 0.1% a day, so less than 1% a week, which to be fair isn't all that bad. You know, it's still profit in a way. There's nothing like too bad about only getting 0.1% in a week, especially when it's profit in the form of Bitcoin, because obviously we expect Bitcoin to go up as well, so that 1% could be as much, you know, if you think about it in dollar value, it'd be about 0.5%, you know. So this would be the established range. I'm on the demo account here, by the way, just to show you this. We go to a manual adjustment, and I'm just trying to show you something here. So if we had the 700 sats, and the top of the range is about 3,000 sats, we just put that in there like that, then obviously you see an enormous range. And what all these lines correspond to is basically buy orders and sell orders. You probably know this, you've seen it all before, but buy orders and sell orders, which basically means that you're spreading an investment out amongst this entire range. This is why the bot profit will be smaller than anything that you might generally consider acceptable. You could change it by shrinking the range, and you would basically at this point have the trailing up system on, which basically means that if it goes up, then the grids move up with it. So you lock in a certain like range of price action, and then that range moves up. It doesn't move back down again, unfortunately. Trailing down doesn't work in the same way that trailing up works. In fact, I would leave trailing down turned off, because it requires you having extra capital to invest into the bot, whereas if you do it this way, you know, it's locked in already, so you don't need to worry about it. So just forget about this. We'll have trailing up on, and just hope that the lower target sets. Now, if you are going to set something like this up, you'd want to do it when it gets as close to the bottom range as possible, and you'd probably want a little wiggle room to begin with. So you'd set up a bot something like this, which again is a tighter range when we get into this area. And you wouldn't need this many grids, to be honest with you, but it's completely your call. The more grids basically means more buys and sells, which again means technically more profit, but it's also more fees attributed to each buy and sell. It kind of balances it out in a way. So I won't get too fussy about how many or how little, but you probably don't want to be having them more than 1%. I mean, how long is a piece of string? The best way to look at it is that how volatile is the asset that you're trading, you know, on a 15-minute, hourly, 4-hourly time frame. If you're getting more than 1% in every other hour, up and down, then maybe 1% is fine. If you're getting very small ranges, then yeah, lower the grid steps. So you could start a normal standard grid bot in something like this with the trailing up feature on, and this would eventually climb up with the price. And I think XRP to Bitcoin's chart itself would be a good spot position down here anyway, just to outperform the market, but I could be wrong. And because of the volatility that you get on XRP to BTC, I think a bot would also be quite good on the long term. So it's completely your call. If you like this video, then fine, I'll make more like it. I just thought I'd let you know one of my plans that will start to become more realistic later on this year. At this moment in time, it's absolutely not what you want to do. You don't want to be setting this bot up now at all. you'll definitely be thinking about setting this up when the market continues to correct and Bitcoin, let's just say Bitcoin goes below 30,000, maybe the upper 20s. XRP at this point could be, you know, mid 30s. It's at that point where you think, all right, this is an acceptable place to try this bot from. And remember this, right? This is something that people always get wrong with bots. Bots aren't a way to make fast money. Bots are a way to accumulate profit, whether it's in the form of Bitcoin, Ethereum, or USDT or whatever. Your job as a bot manager is to just basically be patient with that bot, recognize what it's doing. So long as it's in range and it's continuously making you some profit, then it's doing its job. It's not going to make you a millionaire straight away. But if you can remember, or if you haven't seen, I urge you to go and have a look at how I used bots in the previous bull market, which is in many ways what we're going to be that type of environment. It's the same type of environment that we will be entering into towards the middle part, towards the end of this year, which is why I'm stressing that this is a good strategy to employ. I turned $1,000 into $50,000 just using bots at the right time, accumulating at the right time, leading into a bull run. So it works really well. You just got to make sure that you're doing it at the right time. Now, this type of bot is going to be great later on this year. Setting it up right now would be a complete error, huge mistake, unless you really are focused on the long term and you don't mind seeing your USDT value go down before it goes back up, which is what it will do, because the market is beginning a correction now. But later on, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 months from now, this bot will be your best friend for an 8 to 12 month period. Same with Ethereum to Chainlink, and whichever platform you decide to use it on, which, you know, whether you're doing an infinity grid bot with Pionex or you're doing a standard grid bot with Pionex or Bitsgap or whoever, you know, this is one that I would seriously recommend. Mostly because there's a range here, and I expect it to play. Bitcoin and Ethereum, Bitcoin and XRP also have an established direction, and I think that they are going to hit those targets, and XRP will outperform Bitcoin and so on and so on. So it serves the right purpose, because holding on to both of those tokens from a relatively low price leading into 2025 is going to be a great plan. But look, this is just my call, and again, it's not something I'm going to jump into right now. I just wanted to put it out there that this is, I believe, a good thing to do. Not today, not tomorrow, later on this year, and hold it until the duration of the bull market is completed. So it could be going on for 8 to 12 months. Right, I'll leave with you there. Boring video, I know, but it's worth thinking about. If you like this sort of stuff, let me know in the comments. I've got links for Bitsgap and Pionex and everything like that in the video description as well if you wanted to set those accounts up. Other than that, hope you have a nice day. Take it easy.